Hello and welcome, welcome. Sorry we were running just a little bit after 1:15. I don't know why, me and my weird odd times. I should have made it 1:30, I guess. How's everyone? I want to welcome
Great. How are
you to
you?
our early edition of Meatless Monday. We've got here with us our awesome co-host J&J Video, who also does this beautiful presentation. She did the little plant person with the little what do you call that there on the thumbnail? Muscles. And we have, I'm so excited to have here Marquita Solis. Did I say your last name right?
Well,
I
it's kind of tricky. Marakita Solis.
Solis. I knew I was going to get that wrong.
Hi,
But I
Marakita.
was
How are you?
Hi. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Oh, I love it. I
Yay.
love talking plants. And oh, look, I think mom just popped in. Kathy Wozniak
Kathy
in the
Wozniak.
house. Hi.
My sweetheart. How are
We're trying to
you?
get her to go plant-based. Maybe Marquita and me and you and Dawn can help everybody go plant-based, right? Or vegan.
There we go.
Like Marquita, I'm excited to have you here. I'll just start how we start every Meatless Monday is we go over the reason I became plant-based was basically at first just to like try a new diet and get healthy. I ended up saying, you know what? I watched the Raw Food Healing Mastery, or not Mastery, Raw Food Healing documentary. I was thinking of another show. And it really made me think. I was like, it just kind of started to click. It made so much sense that they were using food to heal themselves. And I saw Woody from Cheers was on there. So it was a famous person, talking about how he feels so much energy now that he's gone raw. And I said, I'm going to try to do this where I just have a salad. I already did a fast all day, so I was only already eating once a day for dinner, and I really liked the energy I got from that. So I did this, and I said I'm going to try it for 3 days. Then I did it for a week. And then, even, my family is here. They'll tell you I kept going because I felt so good. And that year, in April, I started. Usually by May, I'm stuffy, my eyes are watery, my nose will run. I've got seasonal allergies. I always get a cold around that time. That didn't happen that year. I had no more seasonal allergies. I had back pain that I used to have to get on a bike and stretch out every day. And all of a sudden, the back pain was gone. After about a month, I was like, I'm not feeling that anymore. Where I'm feeling that excruciating pain. It must have been the inflammation. I lost 55 pounds in like 6 months. I had so much energy. I just felt like a really good spirit. And in that evolution, I also found out what happens in the animal. In the meat and dairy industry, where there is so much abuse that happens to animals. And I found out what meat and dairy is doing to our health, why we're all, have sugar, type 2 diabetes, why everyone's getting cancers, why we're having the world on medication. And it just was something that became a passion where I was like, for so many reasons, environmental reasons, it's like it makes so much sense. And then I started to study the nutrition behind it and understood the why. So that's kind of my story, how this happened. I was 42 when I started. So Marquita, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what your motivation for being plant-based is or vegan?
Yeah, sure. So it's Marakita with an I, but that's
Marquita, I'm sorry.
that's okay. It's a very tricky name, but
I'll get it
so
right by next time, I promise.
it's all
Hopefully you'll
good.
join again so I can redeem myself.
I love it. Now you don't have to redeem yourself. We're imperfectly imperfect, right? So
That's right.
yeah. So well, I'm a transformational coach, and I was doing coaching women, and then I saw that there was a need for vegan empowerment, and I started working with vegans, and I was introduced to Peter Goldstein of We Did It Health, and getting to know him and his organization. He asked me, invited me to work with him, and I really didn't know about whole food, plant based lifestyle. I thought this is something, yeah, this is something that's out of my league, right? I'm a vegan and I'm saving animals, but the more I was surrounded by people in the community and hearing the stories, I mean, stories of cancer being turned around, diabetes being turned around, and just it's so important that these people were in every part of my life now because I was working with We Did It part time. And so I let go of oil and lost 15 pounds, and I'm just, I mean, there's like a big weight lifted off of me. It's amazing to really connect with the earth. I feel like when I am eating whole food plant based, which is pretty much all the time, unless I end up going out for some crazy vegan meal, just with the family. I always feel so healthy and light. It's wonderful, and it's really changed my life. My cholesterol's dropped, and I am so inspired to share the good news with other people.
That's
That's
exactly what I
amazing.
think happens. It makes it like you ever watched, like I always say this every week, but you ever watched a really good movie or have something really good to eat and you just can't wait. You just want somebody to try it. Even if they're like, I'm full, you're like, no, take one bite. You've got to try this. It's like once you know, you just kind of want to tell the world. I think it's even a joke that, vegans, like, how do you know if someone's vegan? They'll tell you. But it's because we're really trying to help other people heal. And it's like, for me, the reason I like doing this, and I think we were even talking about that on your live, even if at first it's no one listening or it's one person listening, or even if it keeps you motivated to keep going on my stream, I feel like the reason we all get together and do this is because it legitimately, if we touch one person, because the information is kind of hidden, it's out there if you research it, but you don't turn on your TV at night and people are telling you how they heal from being plant based. It's more or less because of the way the economy works and the industry, they're going to throw the advertisers on there that are paying. And the meat and dairy industry, the pharmaceutical industry, they're all wanting those things out there. So that's what you hear about. So you kind of have to find these little morsels of truth, as I call it, that people are, healing and are, reversing disease. They're helping animals in doing this. So, Dawn, we just talked a little bit about our motivation. I know another thing we talk about is not having lack, but getting excited about being plant based. Like, instead of worrying about what you can't have, it's like there's this whole world of things that you can kind of put together and figure out. And it's been exciting to watch your journey too, of becoming plant based. Because I know first you went vegetarian, which a lot of people do, and then vegan. So I know that you're feeling a lot better, too.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
you're on mute,
Am I
unless
muted?
it's just my sound.
No, I'm unmuted, but for some reason it's showing that my microphone. How about that? Can you guys hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, cool. Um, with me it was so um I didn't initially when Jen and I first decided to do it, I wanted to be vegetarian, and she took it one step further and said, "Let's go vegan with it." And I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I watched her transform, and I was still I was eating a lot of vegetables. I had pretty much gone full vegetarian, but I would from time to time, like if we were at Chipotle, I would have like like a chicken burrito or something like that. I'm thinking it's chicken. You know what I mean? Can you guys hear me?
Sounds kind of crackly, but I can hear you.
Okay, let's see if I can do something here. How about now?
Yeah, that's what I was
Is
getting.
that any better?
And Dawn, I'm gonna have to leave and come in again because I can only hear you on my phone.
Hello, hello, hello. Okay. What about now?
Keep talking, please.
Okay.
I think it's better.
Let's see.
That sounds better, I think.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, one of the things that I did initially was I kept eating chicken and things like that. Let me bring Jen in. And then one day, Jen showed me Gary Yourofsky, a video by Gary Yourofsky. I don't see my thing lighting up. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. It sounds a little
Okay.
better to me too. But what about you?
Um, well, it sounds a little better, yeah. Someone's saying that Kathy's saying choppy still, but I'm not sure if that was an old one or.
What's going on? Okay. What about now?
Keep talking.
Hello, testing one, two.
A little bit choppy. It's just static in it. Maybe it's like a short in the microphone or something like that.
Testing. Testing one, two.
Keep saying
Tell you
testing
what,
again.
how about I get out of here and just go on my phone?
Okay, let's see if that works. Sometimes the phones are worth something, right? My phone makes me sound choppy, oddly enough, but every now and then on the computer I lose sound. It's so weird. Well, we'll get these technical difficulties done.
I had the same problem. I mean, I went through a whole live stream with Ray Sakura and JC Corcoran, and it was choppy, choppy, and I could. There was nothing I could do. I don't know what the problem was, but we reshot it, so they're very nice, lovely
Oh,
vegan.
good, good. I didn't make it. I know, it was like 7 o'clock the other morning, and I never ended up making it to it, but I'm excited. I got the recording here to hear the replay. I almost thought you were doing it again, and then I realized that was a old post. Tell us a little about that. Is that something you'll be doing ongoing, or is it was just a one-time thing?
Well, the one I was talking about was I have a the my vegan empowerment coaching channel where I have live streams on, and it would be great if y'all would come on as guests. I have guests every Thursday at 1 o'clock. So
Oh,
to
that's
really
cool.
inspire. Yeah. So yeah, let me know if you want to come on.
Okay, great. I get my lunch fluctuates in my day job. So they tell me at the beginning of the week when my lunches are. So when I get a lunch that lets me off at 1, I'm gonna definitely, if you do it every week, I would love to. I know Dawn can cut out that time too.
Yeah, and we could even schedule a special one in the evenings, because there's I'm sure people that can't watch it at lunchtime. But like I said, it's all on YouTube under my name, Vegan Empowerment Coaching. But what you joined the other day was a special mastermind group that we're having, starting a group coaching program. Me and June, Fush, it's so hard for me to say. The he's in Bali and he's from Switzerland. His name means fox, June Fox. Um,
Okay.
so we're starting a 6-week mastermind program for people that want to elevate their speaking and presentation skills. So that's very exciting. I mean, I used to be so shy, you'd have to drag me out from under a table. but
Me
we,
too. When I was a kid, you can ask my mom. I wouldn't even like everyone could. She used to joke that everyone could get in front of me, in line. I wouldn't say a word.
That's funny. Well, transformation is amazing, and so we're having this, and it's going to be at 7 in the morning. So that's for people that a lot of people that it's not 7 in the morning for, unless you're devoted on Saturdays to come 7 in the morning.
Oh, I'm up half the time at 7 anyway.
Yeah, so that would be a wonderful program. I also have a group coaching program that's starting more in the United States time at 2, and that's for 3 months to it's for effective activism, right? If you make a plan what you're going to do, and at the end of 3 months, you're going to be getting out there, and we're going to make sure you do it, right? Maybe it's tabling event, um, maybe it's leading a group, whatever it is. But I mean, it's so important that we step up as activists, and that's why June and I do the coaching. And I mean, there's too many people that are sad and fighting with families, and feeling depressed. And we don't want anybody to live like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a difference and a transition when you do this, because we were talking about earlier too, and that's why I love getting, like, every now and then to show people, even though like I do mostly whole food plant based, it's important. Food has a lot of connection with emotions and with family, and that you can still have comfort foods when you are doing this. There's so many ways that you can put different plants and things together, even if you do it whole food based. Or they do have, it's not the ideal diet, but there are products out there, like you said, when you have something that you're doing that's been a tradition, that you have a certain food that you want to eat. There's so many great products out there now that you can still kind of feel like you're fitting into that, or produce that food for your family if you're having a gathering, that can still save the animals and still be plant-based but still be delicious. I think people look at it like you're just going to have to eat, as they call it, rabbit food, where you're going to have a piece of lettuce for dinner and you're always going to feel hungry and deprived. I'm always full. I eat a lot of food. I eat good food. You can eat carbs, when you do this. It's not, it's like, there's so many diets out there that give you so much misinformation, like, oh, eat this cookie diet, or mom, those cookies were good. I got to get off of those, by the way. She brought these vegan cookies to me over the weekend visiting, and I'm like, oh, they are good. They are dangerous for me. Because I was like, I don't barely eat any sweets, but those were good. I'm telling you. So that was Tate's Bake Shop. I think I shared on the page.
Oh,
Um, they have some good vegan cookies if you get a chance to try them. But you
yeah.
can still, it's like once you get to once you get down to the weight you want to be, you kind of stay there because your body is getting what it needs. It's being given the right stuff, and that's always great. Uh-oh, I think I hear someone. Did you make it back to us?
I'm trying. How about now? Testing one, two. Testing
It's like we
one,
can hear
two.
when you're talking, but it's the after talking. It sounds like you're moving the mic or something around,
Testing
like maybe
one,
running
two.
into it.
Testing one, two. Testing one, two.
It
That's
sounds windy.
better, but there's still like static in it.
I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna chill and I'll be a spectator on this. I don't know what's happening. So you guys go
Is
ahead.
this your phone?
No, I'm back on the computer. I couldn't get it on the phone. So that's all good. You guys go ahead and talk. You know my story. Just let them know. And I'll just kind of make sure things move back on the back end.
Okay, well, try to come in again on the phone. Sometimes you have to send a new link.
Well, I was going to say, you were talking about with your family. Um,
Hmm.
we just had a nice party, and my friend made a vegan lasagna, and she made it with potatoes instead of pasta. And it was really good. She sliced up the potatoes really thin, and I didn't even. I was kind of hesitant to think what kind of lasagna is gonna. How is it gonna be with potatoes? But it was so good, and that's you just don't ever know it. I mean, this is so exciting, and I mean, so many exciting and new recipes, right? As long as you're open to trying. I'm not. I mean, like my little negative attitude or my little oh my gosh, but no. I mean, I learned it was great, so I can't wait to make that recipe for my family.
Definitely. And that's the thing, is if you can get people to at least try something, try these things, they're so surprised all the time. And like I always say too, you're going to find stuff just like it is in regular food. If you have, let's say, some you go out to an Asian restaurant, sometimes there's one you like. If you go to an Italian restaurant, you might like the food. There might be a brand of regular cheese that you like and then one you don't. So if you find something that you're not happy with, there's so many different things that you can try in different combinations. You might find that instead of beans, you like mushrooms to replace the meat in a certain dish. So it's like, don't give up on it. If it's something you're committed to, you will find it and it will become part of your life. Just like now, like I go to the store and I go to all the, I go to the produce, or when I order online, I know exactly what I want. And we're all creatures of habit. It's just getting in the right habit that's going to be the best thing for you to prevent and reverse disease, to heal, to give your body what it needs. And also to, of course, everybody, says we're animal lovers, but to really be, if you really want to do what's right for them, going plant-based and vegan is one of the best things you can do to help so many animals from being, from being in this abusive situation that they're put in. And it's like I never thought about it like that. That's why I understand where people are, because for 42 years, and even in my first 5 to 6 months vegan, I didn't understand all the benefits of it, that what I was really doing to my body and animals over that first time. So it's a transition. Wouldn't you agree it's like an evolution?
Definitely. And so I know that a lot of people have said this, how really people don't go vegan overnight. I know Bobby Sudd, we interviewed him on We Did It Health, and he's, my gosh, his, you should go over there and check out the channel. He's going to be, I think, on, let's see, the March 2nd. No, yeah, March 2nd, I'm going to be interviewing him. His heart is so beautiful. And he talks about how that all the experiences that we've had as children and as adults and teenagers, all of it led up to the choice when we were ready to go vegan. So yeah, it's not just a click like for some people. Some people probably haven't had all those experiences that I had with animals, and so it takes longer. But it's definitely a journey, and I love to hear when somebody's speaking from the heart, and it's beautiful, and that's what makes connections when people know you care about them and you're sharing the plant-based message, right, without judging them and with total kindness and also being able to allow for them to receive the message or to or to put it in the back of their memory, right? I mean, that's what's so important. We have a message, not everybody's going to be able to receive it, but we're here for them when they're ready to receive it. So it's beautiful.
Mute. Sorry, I was on mute. There are two
No.
different kind of ways I notice that people approach trying to help other people become vegan. And my approach has always been, because I think I was experienced being non-vegan for so many years and understanding where they were. I don't think people need to be, you don't want to make anybody feel like they're doing something wrong, because we're all doing exactly what we were, in a sense, programmed to do, what we think is the right thing. We're all trying to get through life. We're told that we need, our government even tells us that we need a certain serving of dairy and meat, or it was until before it now is protein that they put in there. But, like we were all brought up with everybody having the very best intentions for us, and thinking they're doing what's right for our health, thinking we needed milk and this and and everything. So we're all just doing what we think. But once the information is out there, what I try to do is present it and let you know, hey, here's why I do it. Here's all the great benefits that have happened to me. Here's what I learned in my journey that happens to animals. And then everyone has their own choices. But I think so many people don't realize the control they have of their own health, that these things don't just happen. Like you literally can turn things around. And it's really the simplest diet that I've found that you can do, because it's so easy. You can have anything and everything as much as you want. You just cannot have these meat and dairy involved in it. There's different levels. Obviously, you can do whole food plant based, which is the most optimal for your health. You want to eat as much all natural, like you said about the lower oils and things. But if you're just wanting to give some products a try and see if you could do it, you can ease into that, because I went all the way the other way and went raw vegan, first, and then eased back into beans and and rice, and added carbs back in, because I lost a lot of weight and I couldn't maintain what the weight I wanted with just raw foods. I know there's a way, but I couldn't seem to get to it, so I added some rice and beans and cooked foods. So like, there's so many ways to do it, and you'll end up really loving what you're eating. It will taste so good. once you try it, you understand that your body just feels so clean and, like you said, so light and so much energy about you. And you can still, like, over the weekend, even though I'm doing Whole Foods, we did a, like, kind of a sub shop night where we did some vegan pizza and subs. And so it was kind of like you can still have those comfort moments too, if that's what people are worried about. Like, what am I going to eat? There's so many great cookbooks and things out there.
How about now? Is that
So,
better?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
It's hard to tell till you talk, so it's like I was waiting for you to say something else. We want to hear
Well,
from you.
it's so funny. It's so funny because remember when you showed me the Gary Orofsky video?
Yes.
That one is the one that I saw them abusing the animals, punching the cow and all of that, and just really abusing the animals. That's what made me want to go vegan. That's when I decided, you know what, I've had enough. It's
I'm just gonna come in and I think I know what it might
I
be.
switched out the microphone.
Okay. Sounds like it might be like a computer somewhere back here.
I just basically connected it all in.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's my internet or something. But that when I saw the way that the animals were being abused, that's what made me want to not support the meat industry anymore. And after I realized, you know what, after a while, it was like, wow, you know what, that's dead flesh. And it started literally grossing me out. So that's what really did it. You know what I mean? It was a combination of the two, the abuse that I saw the animals going through, and the fact that after a while, I just realized it was just dead flesh that I was eating. So I was disgusted by it. So yeah, I'll never go back.
I'd like to see the. Can you all put a link to that Gary Rossi
Sure.
video in the chat? I mean,
Yep.
yeah, because I've never heard of that, but that would be great information for people.
Sure. We'll definitely put it in the link. Right after this is over with, I'll go ahead and link it into the description.
Thank you.
I was
Hmm.
thinking too, based off of what you said, Dawn, about that. I think what starts a lot of people out is it might be health based, or they've seen something, that plants can help them lose weight, or plant based can help them lower cholesterol and things. And then, or, their doctor might recommend a low fat diet and they find this by mistake, and seeing people healing from it. And then, but what makes you stick to it? Because, like I said, if it was just for a diet for me, we all might cheat on our diet. Let's say we're not, we don't drink alcohol, but hey, it's a special occasion. I'm going to have, some drinks. Let's say you don't, want to eat processed foods, but hey, you know what? It's my, birthday. I'm going to eat cake. Let's just say, so I think everybody is apt to cheat on their diet per se, but when it becomes ethical, when it becomes something that you're doing because it's something other than you, when it's about the animals, I think that's what keeps people vegan in it. And for me, that evolution, once I found that out, what I was really eating and how that was impacting the animals and the environment, that's what keeps me there. It's not like I'll ever say, oh, I'm excited, I'm going to cheat tonight and have a cheeseburger. That'll never happen. I'll never eat another animal product knowingly again, unless it's something slid into the food that I wouldn't know, So it's like that definitely, Marquita. Do you? How I did it wrong again? Sorry, I just want to call you that so bad. How do
Okay.
you feel about that?
Well, I was vegan, I was vegetarian, then I went back to vegetarian, vegan, back to vegetarian. And so for me, it was more like I didn't have a good support system. And then also just like anxiety, and comfort eating. And then like trying to find something vegan um, was hard. So I feel like, no, but I understand what you mean. I mean, that's why I'm vegan now. I mean, why I ended up vegan, and now I've really supported myself in getting educated on where to get the things I need, how to make the food myself, so I'm not a slave to waiting for something or waiting to find it at the store. But yeah, I mean, it's a big difference when it's ethical, and I liked what you said earlier about allowing people to go at their own pace, and never feeling like we could never eat that vegan ice cream again, and there's not, I mean, because that's why some people feel like it's so restrictive, just do the best you can.
Exactly. Don't I think I watched you too with that evolution, which was so neat to watch because I remember, when you watched that video, I saw you actually had tears in your eyes. She actually cried when she saw that.
Yeah,
And
I
I was
teared
like,
up.
that's when her heart got in it and it wasn't about the diet anymore. But then we all don't realize too, I didn't realize what dairy, like I didn't know for a while what vegan, vegetarian, all of that. I had no idea what it meant. And when plant-based was not even, some people don't realize it's not eating cheese and some people still stay vegetarian, but for me, knowing the impacts of meat and dairy on our body, that it's legitimately meant for cows that were babies to use, and knowing what
Right,
they
we're not
do
supposed
to
to
the
be
cows, the
drinking or eating
dairy
any
industry is
of that.
just as bad. So I'm like, I'm going all the way with it, but it's all about educating, and the more I kind of, you know, got into it, like Dawn actually is the one that showed me the raw food healing and had gotten into this first, and then I just like really got into it, because every night I would make my salad and watch a new video and a new person. I got into Dr. Milton Mills, Dr. Neil Bernard. I would just keep telling her different things. She'd be like, "Oh, this is the vegetable of the week," because I'd be like, "Do you know what cucumbers do for you?" You know what I mean? So it's been a fun journey for both of us to, kind of explore these things together. And she'll come up with this really cool creation and be like, "Check out what I did with this cabbage," and it can be fun, but we weren't both plant based the whole journey, but over time, we both kind of got to the same place, which has been really fun.
Yeah, that's the way. I mean, that's what's so exciting. You don't know what's going to happen once you start. Like I would never would have thought before. I used to think vegetarians were crazy when I was in college. I was worried about my friend thinking he was going to be sick and frail. And then
Hmm.
after then I became vegetarian. Then and like I never thought I would be whole food plant based or no oil. My gosh,
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? So you just don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. I mean, I was getting steaks almost every night. I was brought up thinking that we needed to have meat on our plate. Like you said, when it's something that I said we used to have a delivery service and before I do what I do now, and it was like, I would say that's one of those weird vegan calls. Make sure we have to order the food special, like, and now I'm that weird person calling, making sure, do you cook it in a pan that also has meat? And like I'm like, it's so funny to what it feels like I've been this way my whole life, even though it's only been about almost 4 years. And it's like because it has really become who I am in a sense because of how passionate I am about it. It's funny how you don't even believe you were that other person.
Yeah, yeah, that other person, my goodness. I mean, they just didn't understand. They were so brainwashed, and that's why it of course I mean, I understand why people don't get it because I mean, I was well, I was listening to Gareth Skur of Vegan FTA, and he was talking about how many signs that he saw for meat, when he went out for a 30-minute walk, and I was watching and I was like, another one, another one, another one, another one. So, I mean, the programming is just booming and bombarding us. No, it's amazing that any of us are vegan, that we were able to be enlightened, to see, oh my gosh, we're missing plants on our plate.
Right, exactly. Like it's like, you don't realize too what I tell people is most of the stuff that you're putting on your plate is already going to be vegan. You're just replacing a couple of things in your diet. Like if you go out to the store instead of buying your milk, pick up an almond milk or vanilla almond milk is what I like, or soy milk or plant oat milk. They have so many different ones. Just pick one up and just start replacing your milk with that. That's going to automatically improve your health right there if you do a lot of cereals and oatmeals. And then, like, if you use for your toast in the morning, let's say you put butter on it, try a plant based butter. Eventually, you can get into how you would make it something completely without even using that. But to start with, if you realize that these things are things that you can add into your life, and if you end up like for example, for dinner, even if you start doing it on Mondays, you come up and you do a vegan meal or a plant-based meal, something that you might see online, or you can just really, you don't realize you don't need meat. Like I do a lot. I do beans and rice and like some mushrooms, and you can even like, use the same seasonings and sauces that you use on meat because I saw a post the other day too. It was saying that basically all these same spices, the Old Bay and, the salt, pepper, oregano, things are exactly what you season them to be. Your meat doesn't arrive all spiced up like you like it anyway. So you don't just, and when an animal flesh is there, they're putting stuff in it that's first of all making it look nice and to your, if you're a meat eater, something that looks fresh or appealing. It doesn't look like that. It's grayed out, I mean, grayed out. I'm thinking of a computer term, but it's gray and it's something dead, so you're having to put seasonings on it anyway. So you might as well do that to your vegetables, the post was basically saying. And that's so true. Like, get excited about what you can eat. Like me and Dawn were talking earlier, and I think she was going to talk about this, but she watched how excited I got to like, I would, wrap my, little lettuce wraps up and dip them in the two different dressings that I had. And like, it was like an event at night for me to make this big salad and eat it. It wasn't something boring. So, like, it's all about what you get excited about. And if you go in and just commit to it and say, hey, I really want to try this, you'll find that you start getting creations that you really like the food, and the fact that you'll feel better and know in your heart that you're doing the right thing for animals, it starts to just become like part of who you are. But it's hard to explain until you do it. Like I never thought I'd be so passionate about healing with vegetables, or helping people get to that point. It wasn't something I set out to do, but it just happens when you find so many benefits and so many good people like I meet that, can help give their perspective on it as well.
Yeah, that's true. You just don't. I never thought I'd be pushing plants, you know. But yeah, but I get scared when I see like my nephews and they don't get any nutrition, they're not getting it. And I think people have forgotten that food isn't just for this big entertainment. I mean, it's not about just, oh, well, let's go grab whatever tastes good, because we are so manipulated by the big industries that we've completely forgotten that food is for our bodies. So I think so many children, so many adults, so many people are not getting using food as nutrition. It's just been forgotten that's what we're fueling our bodies with. And so no wonder we're having high cholesterol, no wonder we're having diabetes, cancer. One of my best friends passed away from atherosclerosis, which I can't say, and it was so sad. I at this point I really didn't know much about whole food, or I didn't know, and it was during COVID, and he had a heart attack and was gone just like that. Not even he didn't even make it to 50. And I'm so sad now that where I am today, I would have been like, you got to make sure that you're checking yourself, you're eating all this junk, right? And it seems like things could have been different, but that's why it's important for us and you to have this great podcast, um, to spread the word. Nobody has to get these chronic illnesses when they're old. We're just taking that for granted. My goodness, we can thrive with plants. Anyway,
Yeah. Hmm. I'm exactly with you. I was taking a drink. I couldn't even get it out quick enough, but it's like, at least people will make their own decisions. They will do what they want, but at least I want the other side of the information out there for people to know that, because you don't just have to, like, because you turn 50, you don't have to then be on three different medications, or you're not going to automatically get diabetes, sugar type 2 diabetes, which a lot of people think, oh, when you get older, you get things like that. No, that's coming from insulin resistance based on, we did a show solely on that before, because it's been such a, a passion for me since I found out it's not something that just happens, because you're overweight. It's something that can be caused by, that can be a contributing factor, but what you're eating and you're putting in those cells where your sugars are supposed to go, you're filling it up with animal fat, basically from meat and dairy, a high fat diet, and then the sugar can't get where it's supposed to. So you're thinking that the potato or the bread is, oh, I can't eat that, but you're never getting to the root cause. If you clear your body out of that meat and dairy and go completely whole food plant based for 30 days, those things will open up where your sugar is supposed to go. So now you can eat an apple, you can eat a banana, and it's not going to completely spike your blood sugar. And of course, when we talk about this, we're not medical doctors, so I'm not anyway. So I want you to make sure, if you're on medication, you want to tell your doctor, because they may need to lower your medication as you go, because if you start lowering your blood sugar and then they have you on something to lower your sugar, you also don't want to have an adverse, reaction. So it's definitely something, if you're, being already medically supervised, to let them know about, because this will work to lower your sugar naturally and to, prevent insulin resistance. So it's some way to naturally, so you don't have to be on the medications. I know so many people, and you probably do too, in the vegan groups, who have gotten off their high blood pressure medication. They've gotten, and it's fast a lot of times. I mean, I've had a lady that told me in 2 weeks her doctor had to reduce her medications, and now
Wow.
she's almost completely off of them. But it's like, you don't realize you have that control.
No, and it's exciting. I think about Mayor Eric Adams, how he reversed his diabetes. He was going blind, and it was very quickly that he got his eyesight back. And you're the second person this week, which I didn't know about the fat blocking the sugar with the diabetes and the diabetes realm. I just didn't know about that, but it makes so much sense. And so we're, thank God you're getting the message out, because we are just so we just don't have the knowledge we need to help ourselves. We think, oh well, now I've gotten diabetes and now there's no hope. All I can do is cling to this bag of medicine, and what's next? And it's so sad. But yeah, it's amazing that you're here sharing this message. So thank y'all.
Well, thank you for what you do, because I think one of the things that's so important is, maybe I know that information, but how do you get it out there? How do we explain it to the world? And that, for me, is like, is that what you focus on mostly in what you do, is helping people how to, you know, present the information, or was that just the special that you were doing that on that vegan speaking?
Well, so I work with We Did It Health, and our mission is to communicate better, to communicate the message more effectively, and then with myself as a vegan empowerment coach, my goal is to bring people back to living in peace, peacefulness, and power, so that they are more effective in getting the message out. So if you're filled with hatred and anger towards people, you can't get the message out. So you got to work on yourself first to get to that grounding level of peacefulness, so you can be effective at getting this message out, and knowing that not everybody's going to be ready to receive the message, and that's okay. That's their right to not be ready, just like we weren't ready when we
Yeah.
were, you know. And so, yes, and that's crucial that I get people, that I'm helping vegans live in peace with themselves, so that they can be peaceful advocates for whole food, plant-based, vegan, anything that helps our animals. And yes, so definitely.
I think people in general don't want to be, um I guess, and I think a lot of people become resistant to the information that they don't want to hear. So automatically I'll notice if there's any type of post that might have like thousands of views, or videos. Like, I notice some of the shorts that I've done on YouTube, they reach a bigger, wider range of audience, and you're always going to have that, what do they call them, kind of like trolls or something. There's always somebody who has something really, really negative to say. And I think it's because they don't understand understand or they don't even want to be open to the information. And one of the things that we have to understand, like you said, is not everybody is ready to accept it, because I might have seen a post that I've made 10 years ago and thought, oh, that lady's crazy, of course you need meat. And it's like, it's okay, like you said, but something you say in some way, and if you keep putting it out there, might get in and reach someone. And that's one of the things I've had to deal with. It's almost like you go through this range of emotions, and sometimes it's like I can't even listen to the TV when I see a commercial that's saying, like, this is good for you, and it's like meat or dairy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and hearing the people say, sometimes people will comment they have this or that, and I'm like, I just want to go in there full force. But also, you have to remember that people are inherently want to be good people, and I do believe that everybody is good people. I don't feel that they're doing something on purpose to themselves or to animals. And you have to get to that point where it's a very gentle way that you have to do it, and you have to speak with I messages, is what I always say. Is I speak from what I know and what I've learned, instead of saying, you shouldn't do this. You have to say, the reason I don't eat meat anymore is because of this. This is how I feel, this is how I healed, and this is how I know other people who have healed. Because if you start push telling people, if somebody had come at me and said, you shouldn't eat that, it's like, I don't need to know. I'm an adult. I know how what I'm supposed to eat, but if you are told in a way that educates, then it you become more open to the message, even in the sense of, even when I post something that shows animal abuse, I'm careful not to share something that would be traumatic to people without prefacing it with, look, I didn't know this went on either. And then now that they know it goes on, it's how they want to handle that information, and how you want to present it is so important to people, because you don't want to turn them the other way, I think.
Well, you're exactly right. You've got to be speaking with compassion and telling your story. Your story is the most powerful tool to use when you talk to people, because people always say, well, what's the right answer, what's the right answer? And there is no right answer. If anything, your story is the right answer. But also listening to other people where they are and asking permission, would you like to hear more, inviting them to hear more. And what you're saying is exactly right on. And so thank you.
Thank you. What would you say, like, other than that, like telling your own story, like what would be really like good advice for people who are, I liked what you just said about going and asking people where they are, because people are at different places in their journey. And I think, would you agree that not forgetting how you were before you became vegan too is important, because it's easy to forget the longer you're like this, that they're not in the same place that you are.
Exactly. I see a lot of people saying, "How could they do that?" Well, I know I can say how they would do that. How could it be hard to give up cheese? Because cheese is so addictive, right? And
Right.
asking it, I mean, it's very addictive. There's a reason it's so hard for people, and not to shame them in it, but just to ask questions, right? Have you ever thought about plant-based diet? Or what do you think about vegans? Well, the one good thing to say is just get it out of the way. Hey, I know I'm vegan. I know you probably know I'm vegan, and you probably think I'm whacked in the head. If you call yourself the crazy thing first, that's one way to get it out of the way, right?
Right.
So you know what? I used to think that vegans were nuts, and look, I'm one today. I can't even believe it. It was hard for me to give up cheese, right? You start just relating to the people is so important. You've got to build a rapport where you're on the same level, and that's what's important. That's why listening is so important. Listen to where they're at.
'Cause I think a lot of people think, "Oh, you think you're better than everyone." No,
Oh
I
no,
don't. I don't, definitely don't. I'm not better than, I don't think I'm better than anyone. I think we're all here on the same level. I think I might, if it comes to plants, maybe I know a little bit more information, just like you may know more information on something else that you're into. But this information that I know has helped me. So, it's definitely like a gentle way to try to, it's like, I just want you to know what I know. It's not anything to do with being better or not better, or I think that's a really bad misconception misconception that a lot of people have about the vegan community in general.
Yeah, and we're talking about that. We did it like, how can we kind of reinstore the way that people look at us, instead of looking at us as hateful vegans, and as just as
It's the complete
more.
opposite. We're like the ones that are, we love the animals and the environment. How did it, because it almost makes people, like you said, angry at people. And it's like that's not where we want to go with it. They're the people you're trying to help.
Oh my gosh, yes, and that's that big thing. Like, we don't want to say, "Oh, those people," right? We are trying to not have any different, we're not separating. We need to bring people together. So we can't say, "Oh, those horrible meat eaters," right? We have to say, and we have to find common ground. We can't be calling people names and saying, "You are this and we're this." No, we're all part of this world. How can we help? And this is what I do to help this world, right? And I see that you're a beautiful person, and maybe you volunteer with stray animals at the shelter, and that's wonderful. So really building that rapport is crucial, and knowing that people aren't going to change their whole life, their whole lifestyle, most likely after one conversation with you. And we're planting seeds, right? This is a big lifestyle change. If they're willing to just let go of dairy for a week, or just even to consider it, that's a great step. And we've really got to celebrate these small victories.
Exactly, and I've heard this so many times too, like, don't worry if try to do it and maybe you didn't completely do it in the beginning. I think everybody just about who's tried to be vegan or vegetarian will have a setback, or will try, oh, I didn't even realize it, but and it's in everything, like, almost. You have to really, I've learned to be like this crazy, what do you call that, label scanner, because I can look at something and oh nope, you can't have that. And it's like, how did you even read that so fast? I've had to hold it back further now that I'm older because I can't see the fine print. But it's like, I can tell you something that might even have it in it, but in the beginning I wouldn't have known. I got these vegan, or it said plant-based burgers on it when I first went vegan, and I happened to look at the ingredients and I was like, oh my goodness, these actually have um like dairy, or it was, what did they call them, it was, maybe it said plant-based, but I realized you have to really pay attention to the ingredients in it, because there can be dairy in something even if it says vegetarian or plant-based. You know what I mean? It's so confusing at first. So, if you find that you messed up, you don't throw the whole thing away, the whole diet away. It's like, oh, okay, so that was in that. That's okay. Tomorrow I'm going to start and I'm only having plants. I'll be more careful to look at the labels after that. So those things are going to happen. It's not like you ruined everything. If you're putting mostly plants and vegetables, you're doing a ton better than you were the week before. If you just increase your intake of vegetables, you're already going to start saying, oh, my tastes are getting now used to this natural healthy food, and it won't be craving the other stuff that you had. It's hard to believe. And also trying different things, like, you're never going to be able to change unless you make that commitment and just start to try having more plant-based food, or completely trying it, like you said. That's why so many people are into the 30-day challenges and the week-long challenge, because you legitimately will start to see the difference in your mind, body, spirit, energy level, and your body will start to heal itself, and you'll start feeling better. So I think if you can just do like a little bit, try it, like you said, you'll start to see the benefits right away. And if you need help, there's so many people out there to help. Like, you're out there to help, and there's different, so many different videos and links. I know that really kept me motivated by just getting as much information as I could. I would just look up health benefits of a plant-based diet, or I reversed and then leave it blank with a plant-based diet, and everything, the health benefits of lettuce, even, like, just learn as much as you can. You start to realize that every food that's a vegetable says one of the first three things is may reduce the risk of cancer. It's like, if you want to try to put the beneficial thing in your body, and the bonus is you're also helping the animals in the environment, or if you're an animal lover, you're saving animals, and the bonus is you're helping your body. Like, however you want to look at it, it's a win-win all the way around, really.
Yeah, it definitely is. And your taste buds change like in 2 weeks if you just try it out. And your whole body, you're right. You're exactly right. You're going to feel the benefits very quickly. You're not going to have to wait. You're going to feel lighter and just doing your best, realizing you're human in this human experience. Humans mess up. If you mess up, just keep going for moving forward. Keep moving forward. And my gosh, you're going to really thrive once you really, if plants are the basis of every meal, you're going to be thriving at all ages.
Exactly. That's another thing. Our friend Stephanie, or from the vegan group, she has a page called Reversing Disease Through a Healthy Whole Food Plant-Based Diet, I believe it's called, and she's going to come on with us one week and talk about it. But that talking about, like, when you're the best thing you can do if you have kids is early in life. One of the things that's so frustrating to me is that we don't have this in schools and in hospitals. That if we know that a plant-based diet does all these things for us, and we know it can heal and reverse disease, and it's the best thing we can do, I can't wait until there's a day where it's more commonly, it's connecting the dots, like, okay, then we should be feeding this not one meal option, but that's how we should feed the kids. If they want meat and dairy at home, that's fine. But in schools and in hospitals, we should be giving people the best thing that they can do. That's where they need it the most. But there's a disconnect. And then when you get older, like I hear from so many people that it's like, their friends or their peers that are the same age, they're on medications, they're going through surgeries, and they're out hiking, and and they don't haven't been to a doctor in years, or except for maybe checkups to check their levels of everything. But it's a different quality of life, and it's like, if you want to enjoy those years, obviously we don't know how long we're going to be here. Anything could happen to us at any time, but to feel great while you're here is one of my goals, and I know that most people want to feel good.
Well, that's true. They say that we're living older in this country, and how wonderful that is. But the fact is, we're living older, but we're living like in 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 terrible situations. Like barely, we're not thriving. We might be alive, but for the last 10 years of our life, we're laying in bed and really having a hard time getting around, and that's no way to live.
Hmm. Exactly. And I definitely think it is so important that we, just continue, like you said, to put the information out here. Most of the people that come on and listen, I know, are people that are not plant-based that listen to this. They might just be doing it to support me, or they may be doing it because they're semi interested and curious. So I think, a lot of people I've touched with my message, they've, at least some of them have went, and became plant-based, and now are feeling good because of it. And some people are still just kind of thinking about it and delving in. But the more you hear, and the more people like yourself and Dawn, like the biggest pizza lover I know in the world. Come on, if she can do it, guys, you can do it, right? And if I, the way that I would, if I went to the movies and they were putting that cheese on the chips, it would be like, no, a little bit more. You know how the ladies squirting it on there? Like, I mean, I was a big cheese. I would get a thing of the Utz cheese sauce and dip Doritos. Like, I loved cheese. I loved meat. I was, I did that Atkins or low carb thing for a while, and I would eat meat. It's like I didn't like, and Gary, the video I sent that to you on Facebook too, he didn't say that he gave up meat. He's like, I didn't give up meat because I don't like the taste of it. I gave it up because I'm trying to make sure that animals aren't being abused, and I'm trying to make sure, in his case, he's an animal rights activist, but in my case, I gave it up because I wanted to make sure I didn't have high blood pressure, and I wanted to be healthy, and I wanted to give myself the best chance of waking up every day being able to be pain free. And when I didn't have allergies for the first time, I mean, I had suffered with those since a kid. You don't realize that your body creates histamines against foods that don't belong in it. And that's what I read in my research, that it was like, oh wait, okay, so my body was adversely reacting to dairy. And the whole time I thought it was the pollen outside, which that was just activating it. But something when I cleared out of meat and dairy stopped me from having allergies. A lot of people get rid of asthma, skin conditions, cancer has been reversed, people have these stories and I share them on the page. So it's like, to me, it was like if everybody had this magic pill that was out there. I tend to say this every week where we said, hey, you can live longer. You won't, your skin will feel great. You won't get old as fast or feel old as fast. You'll prevent disease. You could even reverse it if you're dealing with high blood pressure and this and that. It'd be like everybody be going out like, give me this pill. But it's a little bit more difficult than a pill. You actually have to change some of your habits and change the way you eat. But if you've done it, I've done it, Dawn's done it, everybody that's ever came on the stream has. There are so many people, and think about it. Like, I know my mom was here a little while ago. She did so well one time. She got on the where she had no bread or anything for a couple of years. Like, it's all about what you get into the habit of, and I know there's some vegetables you like, some you don't, but you can try different ones and get into it. With everything I've ever had my mom or someone that's not plant-based try, like, the vegan cheese, they're like, wow, this actually tastes good, like, it's amazing that you can make different things that you're used to with cashews or whatever you use. It's like it's just exciting, and it's like it takes a minute to clear your mind and have an open mind of everything you've ever been taught. I think that's what's hard for people, and it was hard for me. I was still resisting it, even reading the information. I'm like, this can't be right. And then I'd hear another story of, wait a minute, oh, wait, okay, they're saying the same thing. Wait, oh, this is why. This is the science behind it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this goes on in the industry. Like, you learn so much that you're just like, you can't believe that everything you've ever known was not right.
You're right. It's like, oh my gosh, I just woke up to another life.
Yes. Well, how can people reach you? Or is there anything else you want to let us know? I'd be interested to hear while you're on here how they can reach out to you and how you can help, how we can continue to follow your journey too.
Well, thanks. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Mariquita Solis. I have the Empowered Vegans Facebook group, and I do one-on-one coaching for people that really, I mean, want to work more closely with me. Vegans, well, you don't have to be vegan. If someone wants to be helped, I'm happy to help you. But yeah, I have the group coaching programs too, which are starting in March. My group coaching, and then mine in June's mastermind, which is going to be more. That's for speaking and presenting, and that's at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in the United States, don't want to get up that early, then find out about my group coaching, which will be at 2 p.m. But yeah, I love to connect with you all. I mean, just to chat, because the vegan community is so powerful and so welcoming. So I love to meet and talk to vegans. And thank you all for having me on this program. It's been very enlightening.
Well, thank you for coming. I know it was kind of last minute, so I really appreciate you joining in. And it was just like, when I was listening to you speak. Oh, and your dog is so cute, by the way. He was on there with her. I'll have to show you that replay, Dawn, because I think you were working at the time, or studying. But it's like, when I heard you talking, I'm like, that is so interesting what you were talking about. You were letting us know on that live about the show the next day that you were doing, or the
Mhm.
coaching session. But like, what you do is really important, because it's important to feel empowered and to know how to present this to other people, and not to feel like you're isolated or alone, or that you can't, that you're not in a larger community, and that you can really like thrive and still be who you are and do what's important to you, even though the rest of the world, most people are not vegan. I think that's what makes it difficult.
Right, it is. And so it's important to let go of outcomes, right? Where you are, where your self-value is dependent on in here, not out there. You're not going to sleep at night because of what other people say to you. You're going to sleep at night because you're confident in yourself and you're living in alignment with your beliefs and your values.
Definitely. I wished Dawn would have been on here because I know she would have something to say to chime off of that because she is so great with, that how to your mind has to be in the right place too. And I think as much as we want to, one of the hardest things, it's not really changing what you eat. It's really changing your mindset of how you think of food and how you know, think of your diet becomes like you said, it's not just something you're just throwing in there because you're hungry. You start to realize that the food is fuel and what you do impacts other things. What you eat in actually is either, going to help you and help animals or it's not. So mind over matter, she said. Exactly. She said, thanks for being here. I'm so sorry that you couldn't get the mic work. Hopefully by tomorrow, because Dawn does a show tomorrow night that I'm going to be co-hosting on. So I hope you get the microphone. We'll get it together by then. We'll do 100 testings, or you can use this computer. Somehow, for a while, mine didn't work. I couldn't. I would be on her stream going. So I'm like, we finally got mine going. Now hers is chopping up. We'll get it right, won't we?
Well, I had to use a different browser. Try that. I went to what is it?
Fire.
Firefox.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. I never thought about that. A different browser. That's one of the last things I always think of. That's probably an easy fix for a lot of internet issues, but that's why I kind of let her deal with the technical end. I'm
Mm.
not quite there yet with all this restream and YouTube. I just know to click the button and start talking. And so say your name for me one more time so that I can make sure I always say it right now.
Mariquita Solis.
All right, I got it now. Mariquita Solis. See?
Right,
I'm
right.
already look, she's already improving me. I'm empowered now. Thank you so much. I really love listening to you. I love your calm nature about you and that, you definitely have a lot to teach us. So I can't wait to follow your pages. And she said I'll be in next time. We know you will. We have to do this again. Feel free to come on. I usually do 7:30 Eastern time on Mondays. My work schedule is a little different today because of President's Day. So I did it early, but I might end up, doing it earlier. I guess we'll just figure out. Maybe I'll do a poll what more people would are able to listen on. So I'm pretty free as long as it's Monday. It's Meatless Monday, and then we did it. We do a show, Amazing Plants Formations, that I'm going to be starting back up to, which it's going to kind of combine in with Meatless Monday. But I would love to have a segment on here where we hear someone's healing journey that they've that how much better they feel, because that's one of the things I think will help people understand and identify. If you hear real stories of real people that have done this and that used to, like you and I said, this is who we were. We didn't understand it. We didn't think we'd be at this point, but now here we are. So
Right.
well, definitely, we will put the links after the replay post. What we'll do is we can put the links in the description to your channel and if you send us your links, send them to me either on Facebook or email, and I'll make sure they get on there so anybody that watches this can link up with you.
Thanks so much. And I'll be looking forward to you all coming on my show.
Okay, that's great, and that's on. Can you say again what the exact time is? It's 2 p.m.
Well, it's at 1 p.m. on Thursdays. Who knows what I said before,
1
but
p.m.
1 p.m. Yeah, but we could do a special show, whatever, to make it convenient for you. Whenever you want, we can do it because different audience at a different time.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, we will try to make it on Thursday at 1, and if not, we'll set something up so we can all chat again.
Sounds good. We'll be
Mm.
in touch. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, ladies.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Mom, thanks for chiming in the comments. Dawn, thank you for the beautiful thumbnail and stream here with the little plant power and for coming on and trying to talk. And thank you so much, Marquita. We appreciate you and are thankful you came on today.
Thank you.
And
Namaste, vegan, everybody.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next week. See you soon.